Hello everyone, welcome back to What Remains of Edith Finch. We last off, we watched as Edith's grandfather accidentally was bucked off a mountain by a deer. So let's get back to watching the deaths. What an interesting game. Alright, so sneaking around here.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Ouch. Why? What? Why is this just right here?
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it.
Divorce contract. Ducky.
I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
There we go.
Hand over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw.
Can I hit the bubbly ones? I can't hit the bubbles.
What his room was like.
A little train of duckies.
It reminded me so much of Cal. Lost in his imagination. Whatever it was, he saw.
Oh.
It sure made him angry.
Mr. Whale, let's have some fun. No. No, whale. What?
I know how silly it sounds.
Oh.
But I worried about a baby being too happy. I could feel him slipping away.
We have more friends.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
Oh, I know about this one. No. Oh, okay.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw.
Got the ducky.
There's so much I don't understand about Gregory, about everything.
Oh no, I know about this one. No.
But I know what happened wasn't your fault.
I feel bad. I feel bad. I'm watching a little baby die.
I'm sure he's happy. He'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Ah, that's real saddening. Holy shit. Of all things, killing a baby, not off limits.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet. A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
My
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met me, we don't need a stepmom were the words that
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Zoom.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Ah, yes, the middle finger.
The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Oh, a tornado.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made.
Oh, okay. So just over here.
The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam.
Oh,
But I didn't. Until we found you.
skewered.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
God, not even the children are safe in this game. What the hell? Duties. Sweep and trash. Gus. Mop and mow yard. Greg, be a baby. Jump rope 100%. Jumping jacks 150%. 150 times. Push-ups 100. Crunches 100. Run to mailbox and back. Raise flag. Breakfast. Quiet time. Emergency evacuation plan. Wait, what? Playing outside of permission, no answering door for strangers. No messes after dark. All chores before dark. Respect others. And yet, we have a missing child. Or do we have a missing child?
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Fair enough. I don't blame her.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
They look adorable. Look at them. Was that everything? Did I miss anything? Oh, there we go. I did miss something.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later.
Little baby Lewis.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back.
Edith, Milton, and Lewis.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal, but it didn't last.
Sven, Odin, Gregory, Sam, Calvin, Molly, Barbara, and Gus. Lewis rules. Ah, yes. The classic of kid writing. A through D. Ooh, hey. There's no hamster in there. I don't know if I should be concerned or not.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
So how does this prevent a child entering? Oh, it's paint. Okay. That's a neat little elevator. I wish I had something like that as a kid. I'd love that as a kid. Nope, I don't want to go down. I want to go over here.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Oh. Creative.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
Milton just up and disappeared as his whole story? That's it? Just gone?
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Oh, it just circles. I mean, I expected it, but, you know. Never be too careful.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
No, go back. No, I don't want to go up here. Oh, I guess I do want to go up there. I lied to myself.
Louis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
I like that one. Theodore Quality Cigars. Theodore's. What do we got here? Looks like Nintendo. Into the PlayStation.
Louis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Hey, practice makes perfect. Don't judge him.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Louis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Louis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery.
Simple enough.
But he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth.
A labyrinth, huh?
He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
Bats and toads, huh? Dragon bones!
And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
Oops.
But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on.
So you let him go on.
I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend.
At least he has friends.
On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topi. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
Hey, gotta start somewhere. Musicians seem like a pretty good start.
And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination.
All fake and never there.
So he could do whatever he wished.
Oh, stairs, okay.
He held an election for mayor. And he won.
Luigi!
They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville.
New Louisville.
St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
Ah, gosh. You ever just wonder if you're gonna end up like this
In
somehow?
Louisville, he heard rumors of a
No, go left, why not?
beautiful prince.
You're telling this young man's story, not mine. We give him a prince.
The prince was on his own quest for
No, we'll do rainbows.
radiant rainbows.
Why not?
He followed the sound of his
Oh, hell yeah, a harp.
silver harp. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon.
East of the sun and west of the moon.
Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. but he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
Interesting face. Not really what I expected him to have, honestly.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
He's got a solid point. Cannery. Laundry detergent. Imperial Palace.
I began to forget the world we know.
Osha's a DS. Aw, snap.
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
Who was the cannery worker? The person who went nowhere. That's a painful thing to have to think about when you can just think
I
about
began to
a king.
despise the man with a royal contempt. I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
Interesting.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
Calico. Say kitty.
His prince waiting, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do.
It's kind of loud, isn't it? Sorry, guys.
Bend down his head. And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Fuck. I couldn't prepare for that. Just suicide
My
by
brother was really cool.
the blade.
I wish you could have met him. On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed.
Whose room is this? Eddie's?
But I understand why we left.
Edith, mom.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night. That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
To our final night together, and all our final nights apart.
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Oh, I'm moving. I thought it was a cutscene.
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
I love these sleeves things she's got. I've always loved those things.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning.
Okay?
History of the Finches by Eddie Finch.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful.
It smelled awful.
No, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it.
Yeah, here you were.
When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around.
Oh great, fog walking.
I started seeing things.
Was that deer's face towards me while it ran? What?
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends.
An old mattress.
That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them.
Oh, whoops! I thought I actually hit it.
Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go!
I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it, but she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone.
All alone. The dead family.
The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
The magic of birth. I guess a dying mother. Ouch.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Wait, she died at 17? What? Oh, did she die during childbirth? Is that what it was saying? Oh. I believe that's the end of What Remains of Edith Finch. That was an emotional last episode for that. Holy shit. Suicide from decapitation, and Granny died from a broken heart. Or whatever ended her. Damn. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe, dislike if you dislike it, and I hope to catch you in future videos, guys. Bye.